Basically, there are no complaints about the corrosion resistance of Megane 2. Sometimes rust can appear only on the rear wheel arches, and then not all cars. Experts noted that it depends on the released batch. The front fenders, the boot floor, and the bottom of the tailgate are made of polypropylene plastic. When buying, you should carefully check the operation of lighting equipment. Oxidation of the electrical contact of the turn signals was noted due to the ingress of moisture. The ignition blocks of the native xenon fail. Some owners complain about the short life of low beam lamps. In the rear lights of sedans on pre-styling versions, until 2006, the diffuser was melted. Moreover, this optics often turned out to be leaky. The interior is less avant-garde than the exterior, but overall comfortable and spacious enough. When viewed from the side, visibility is slightly limited by the left A-pillar. The rear clearance of hatchbacks is not visible due to the specific shape of the trunk and the small vertical glass. And in bad weather, the short rear wiper cleans only a small area. The side mirrors do not help much either. The body is slightly rounded towards the stern. And in sedans, the rear clearance is not visible due to the high trunk. Due to the specific shape of the hatch body with a flat and even roof, the rear passengers have a sufficient supply of space above their heads, and in sedans there is noticeably less space. The roof is lowered in the rear seat area. On the gallery of all versions, except for the Coupe Cabriolet, 3 passengers of average build will be able to sit down. When buying, you need to check the power windows. Their mechanisms are not reliable, and the interior air conditioning fan, or its control unit sometimes fails. The driver's pillow may not work due to a break in the wiring harness connection. It will have to be changed along with the steering column switch block. It happens that the rear wiper unexpectedly refused. To make it work, you need to turn off the ignition, wait a while, and then turn it on again. A characteristic weak point of 1.6 and 2.0 liter engines is a short-lived mechanism for changing the valve timing. If you're lucky, it will last 80 to 100,000 kilometers, and if not, it may fail after 30,000 kilometers. In a 1.6 liter unit, the malfunction first appears only at startup, accompanied by a knock, and in a 2.0 liter unit, an unpleasant diesel rumble occurs constantly when idling. The failure of individual Sagem ignition coils was also noted, and the same products from other manufacturers serve without problems. In 1.6 liter engines, failures of the camshaft position sensor are observed. There are weaknesses inherent in all engines. If the engine does not start, the cause may be an oxidized contact of the crankshaft sensor or a dead battery, due to which the ECU blocks the start button. With a normal driving style, the rear engine mount also takes care of 100,000 kilometers, and with an active one it may require replacement by 30,000 kilometers. The timing of all units uses a belt that needs to be changed every 60,000 kilometers along with rollers. It is better to entrust this work to qualified specialists, since in all motors the pulleys have a keyless fit, and if the mounting bolt is not tightened, the pulley may turn, which will lead to the valves meeting the pistons. At the same time, every 60,000 kilometers, it is necessary to change the attachment drive belt and the pump, which may not come out for 2 service life of the timing belt. Mechanics advise to beware of versions equipped with an automatic. In automatic transmissions, many parts do not differ in durability: modulation valves, valve body, oil seals, torque converter, etc. failed. Mechanics is more resistant, although problems are noted in it. So, there were batches of cars in which oil was leaking at the junction of the clutch and gearbox housings. Clutch can also cause trouble, which is manifested by jerking at the beginning of the movement. In general, a well-maintained chassis provides the car with a fairly comfortable ride on our roads. The front suspension is independent, McPherson type, and the rear, semi-independent with the torsion beam. There are no comments on the rear suspension. A characteristic weak point is the support bearings of the front struts. They do not last long. Ball bearings, on average, take care of 60 to 80,000 kilometers, but silent blocks, as a rule, are able to last 2 ball service lives. Both branded consumables are offered along with the lever, although in the non-original these parts can be purchased separately. The rack and pinion steering is equipped with an electric power steering that changes the degree of gain depending on the speed. There are also comments on this note. So, the rail bushing breaks pretty quickly and knocks unpleasantly when driving through bumps. Fortunately, the rail is reparable, but the owners are more frustrated by the fragility of branded steering rods. When replacing, it is better to put non-original parts that have a long service life. but the tips can come out 2 to 3 times longer. On older cars, the ABS sensor wiring can break, causing the anti-lock braking system to fail. In addition, on pre-styling machines, the brake mechanisms were not equipped with mudguards, which leads to accelerated wear of the rear inner pads. Buying Renault Megane 2 is contraindicated for pragmatic people. They are unlikely to like the regular surprises of this extravagant Frenchman in the form of the failure of certain notes. However, if you have skillful hands and are able to cope with some problems on your own, you can try to make friends with this model. True, there are owners who have not had to deal with most of the problems listed. In turn, Megane 2 is able to offer, in addition to an unusual design, high security, decent comfort, rich equipment, and for less money than more eminent competitors.